Okay, now we're going to talk about using something that's called Whois. Now, Whois is actually a huge database that contains information regarding basically every website that's out on the internet. It contains common information such as who owns the website, the email of the owner, as well as some other information. Let's go take a look. Now, what I'm going to do is you can do this a couple different ways. Backtrack actually has this built in from a command line interface, but just to make things easy, I'm going to do this through a web interface because, again, I'm trying to make things as easy as possible for me. I'm going to go to a website called whois.domaintools.com. You can see I've been there as well. So now Linux, or I should say Backtrack, has this capability built into it, but I may not always have access to Backtrack. So I could just simply open up a web page, and here's the web page. It's whois.domaintools.com. And from here, I can type in either domain name or an IP address of any site out there. And let's see what we get here. I'm going to go ahead and type in here our hackthisSite.org, and let's see what we get back. So you can see here, who's the email. Looks like they do have it protected, which that's pretty good. We're going to scroll down here, though. We can see the IP address of the dedicated server. You can see the IP location is based out of Las Vegas, Nevada. You can see that they've maintained this since like 2003, it looks like. And if I scroll down, they show us as far as number of images, number of links, both internal and external. And if I scroll down even further, I'll actually get the physical Whois record. This is actually the results that you would see from Backtrack or from a Linux box if you were to do a Whois from a command line interface. So first of all, I can see that it's going to expire. This website is going to expire. The domain name is going to expire on 8/10/2015. I can see where it was registered at. Normally, companies are not smart enough to go through and protect themselves. This company is, obviously, because the site's hackable. They're protecting themselves with the Whois Privacy Protection Service. Many times you'll come in here and you'll see the person that registered the domain name, like Billy Bob, and then you'll see the admin and his his email address, typically listed here, as well as his cell phone number. You then see the technical contact information, which is supposed to be who you'd contact for technical issues. We also see the name servers or the DNS servers that's hosting the name to IP address resolution. In this case here, they're using BuddyNS. It looks like they have their own name servers, NS1 and NS2, that's listed here. And as far as DNSSEC is concerned, it's unsigned, which DNSSEC is a protocol that we use for encrypting DNS transfers. And since this isn't encrypted, this could be a possible point for me to take a look at. Again, I'm going to go through and be really paying attention to the contacts listed in here if it's unprotected. I'm going to be looking at, obviously, if Billy Bob registered it. Typically, when they go and register, they put their home address. Sometimes their business address will be listed, but the phone numbers are going to come in play for me. I could use that in a social engineering attack, as well as the email address. Now, the email address really comes in handy for me because let's say that this is a Whois for widgets.com. Well, if the registrant's email is brucewayne@gotham.com, I know that the person who registered it typically is maybe not working for this particular company. Maybe it's a third party that's helping them out. Usually it's like their nephew's brother, sister's uncle's third cousin who happens to know something about computers helped them out with registering their domain name. I'm also going to be keeping a track of, again, when their domain name expires. Some of the most common issues that we see are domain names expiring and somebody taking the domain or registering it themselves and either doing kind of like an extortion, like we're going to use your domain for a different purpose and all your customers are going to think that's actually you. So maybe I can get you to buy your domain name back from me for a profit. We call those trolls. Now, I mentioned earlier that we're going to be paying attention to these servers that are hosting the DNS information. In a future course, we're going to talk to you about something When you talk about hacking websites, you're going to learn about a method that's called symlink bypassing, which technically will show you exactly how you can use a single website in order to compromise every website on that same server. So look forward to that particular course. Again, that's going to be on website hacking. But in order to accomplish, again, that particular procedure, you're going to have to know the name of the servers that you're going to be attacking. Now, if you want to actually extrapolate a little bit more information than what you would get from a website, you may want to fire up your Kali box. Now, here in Kali, I'm first of all going to show you some things when it comes to Whois. A lot of people wonder about where Whois gets its information. Well, it actually gets it from several different registrars. And there's 5 different ones throughout the world. The first one is Aaron, which is the one we use quite heavily, obviously, in the United States. It represents Canada, the Caribbean islands, North Atlantic islands. We have LACNIC, which is our Latin America, as well as some portions of the Caribbean. We also have RIPE. RIPE is our Europe, Middle East, and Central Asian registrars. We have AFRINIC, which is our register for Africa and parts of the Indian Ocean. And then we have APNIC. APNIC is the register for portions of Asia, as well as the oceanic rim. Now, when it comes to dealing with Whois, we obviously could go to the same type of web interfaces on our Linux boxes, but I'm going to do as a command line interface instead, just so that you guys can see a little bit of a difference here. Now, this is just a standard terminal session that's opened up, or terminal window opened up on my Linux box. I'm going to go ahead and just do a Whois hackthisSite.org. And you notice it kicks back with a lot of information. Let me go ahead and make this biggie size so we can see this. Kicks back with a lot of information here for me. Similar information that we saw through the web interface. But we have some other tools available. Many times we'll see in a Whois, we'll actually see an IP address block, which shows us the IP address range that it belongs to. Again, they've done a pretty good job here. Now, the other nice thing that we can do is we can go through and specify, remember our different registrars? Well, I can go through and say that I would like to use a specific registrar. So then I'd want to go find our IP address. Let's go back up here and find our IP address. Well, I happen to make a note of it here. So the IP address that we were using is our 198.148.81.136. And again, I'm going to get back our information here. I'll scroll back up here and see if I see anything. Oh, look at this. I've got... Yeah, so here you can see that I've got a network range being listed. And I can also see here that I've got some actual phone numbers. SharkTech.net. Network operations is at SharkTech.net. I'll scroll up here a bit more. That's the people that have that range. And here's my organization handles, or tech handle. And it looks like I even extrapolated out of here an address. We got Bellevue, Washington. So that's Whois.